All right, let's talk about a habit that, well, pretty much all of us have, but most of us try to hide. You know that moment when you're super focused or maybe a little stressed out, and you suddenly realize you're narrating your own life out loud? Come on, be honest. Have you ever been looking for your keys, just muttering, okay, where did I put them? Not on the counter, not in my pocket. Or maybe you're at your desk, wrestling with a really tough problem, and you start quietly coaching yourself through it. If you've ever done that, and then, quickly glanced around, hoping nobody heard you, well, it turns out you are in some seriously good company. Yep, that's right. One of the greatest minds in history was famous for mumbling to himself. So if you've ever worried that it's a weird habit, you can officially relax. You're actually sharing a trait with a certified genius. And as it turns out, there's a fascinating scientific reason why we do it. So what is actually going on in your head when the words just start coming out? This isn't just some random quirk. It's a really sophisticated strategy that your brain uses to think more clearly. Let's break down how it works. Okay, so the first big idea is something called cognitive offloading. Think about your brain's working memory. It's kind of like the RAM in your computer, right? It can only handle so much stuff at once. And when it gets overloaded, it needs to free up some space. So speaking a thought out loud, that's like taking a big, complicated file off that crowded memory and putting it right on your desktop where you can see it. You're basically outsourcing the work. And doing that, offloading the thought, lets the next piece of the puzzle fall into place: verbal reasoning. You know how our thoughts can be just a chaotic jumble of images and feelings? Well, language forces that chaos into order. It demands a beginning, a middle, and an end. So when you say, okay, first I do this, then I do that, you're forcing a messy thought into a clean, logical sequence. So here's how it all comes together. Step 1, your brain is just swimming in this sea of messy, overwhelming thoughts. Step 2, you use that cognitive offloading to grab one of those thoughts and say it out loud. And in that exact moment, bam, it's not a vague feeling anymore. It becomes a structured piece of information your brain can actually work with. You've literally gone from chaos to clarity. You know, this whole process has a really cool name: metacognition. It's literally your brain thinking about its own thinking process. This is one of the most advanced things our brains can do. So when you talk to yourself, you're not just lost in thought. You're actively stepping outside of your own mind for a second to get a better look at what's going on inside. And all of this leads to a pretty powerful conclusion. What if this little habit you might have been self-conscious about isn't a weakness at all? What if it's actually a sign that you have a highly efficient mind at work? What if it's your secret superpower? Let's just tackle the stigma head-on, shall we? The myth is that talking to yourself is a sign of, being unstable. But the reality, the one that's actually backed by science, is that it's often a sign of a high-performing brain that's just trying to solve a problem in the most efficient way it can. And these are the hallmarks of that process. People who talk themselves through things are often way more efficient problem solvers because they're literally building a logical path forward with their words. They get more clarity on complicated ideas, and by forcing all that internal chaos into structured language, they're sharpening their own reasoning skills in real time. So the next time you catch yourself muttering your way through a problem, don't feel embarrassed. Just recognize it for what it is. It's not a glitch in your system. It's a built-in feature for high-level thinking. It's your brain firing on all cylinders. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, if this common, totally overlooked habit is actually a sign of sophisticated brain power. What other secret high-performance features might be running in the background? What else is your brain doing when you're not even looking?